And thanks, Mike. And we're actually on schedule. So we're dialing Diana Birch-Gottroff back up. Diana can't hear us, so if there are questions for her, we'll type that in. We also welcome all your questions.
Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Might get a little funny here, but questions for Heather and Diana? Okay. Oh, hi, Inga. For the audience, in case you couldn't hear Inga, Inga has a question for Diana, and it is, does Governor Cuomo have this report that Diana just produced? So we are going to wait for an answer. Nice typing.
Probably. But he sent these reports over to the governor. We don't think he reads them. He takes them home and throws them in the trash. He just doesn't read them. But this is not the only report on the economic benefits of hydrofracturing. I think Governor Cuomo has the evidence. I think it's a political decision rather than an economic decision. And often to economists, these solutions seem very simple, and it's because economists are not politicians. And politicians have other considerations to think of, such as who gives them campaign contributions and making their supporters happy.
Another question? Anyone? Question is from Sue Bickley for Heather.
It's kind of like something that you can answer presentation when you talk cost benefit. The city of Fort Worth has 1,000 natural gas wells that have been built in the last 10 years, 12 years. People are going to keel over dead and receive it. And that neighborhood actually costs $1,000 better. The second thing, when you use it in a bottle, have you seen that there's a warning that if you swallow any of it, you're supposed to follow the control center? And you stick this in our kids now, it's supposed to stay.
I'm really glad I've never actually swallowed toothpaste. So, and on the Fort Worth point, a parallel, and I'm trying not to highlight Texas too much because I'm sure everyone here knows Governor Perry is coming to New York to try and steal businesses away, and I don't want to make people know about that because I don't want to believe. But another parallel in terms of cities is, and I forget which city it is in Colorado, but recently there was a city in Colorado that had adopted a moratorium on drilling, and they unadopted it because they said, well, wait a minute, we don't want to miss out on this opportunity. So, the trend is going in the other direction, where people have the knee-jerk reaction and did them in moratoriums. They're now trying to do that. Yeah, and I think we should run that like we should be running for office.
Question? Heather, stay up here. Is it, can you, Tracy, okay.
My question is, so what's going on in the subject? Bob was talking about the importance of trying to make the case to collective bodies like town boards and school boards and that kind of stuff. Regional Economic Development Councils are appointed bodies. And what's going on with them needs to be tracked. Do you think?
Well, I mean, I think the Southern Tier, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that they decided not to take a vocal position on it because there was so much dissension. There are some local communities that are so opposed that they decided not to make a decision, which, is the same thing as moratorium, right? You just don't be in the same room as a decision, and no one can criticize it because you've got this rule that says you can't make a decision. I mean, it does highlight that it's every level, and we really need to make sure people are better educated so that we can start moving public opinion on this. Because once the public opinion starts moving, the hard part of a political conversation. You can be right all day long, but if it's polling 50-50, the best thing to do is not make a decision. Because no matter what you do, you're gonna piss off 50% of the people.
Well, and
So,
in the case of those councils, they're not elected.
right.
So it basically,
Yeah, I guess they don't want to have a food fight. I don't know. I mean, it's too bad. I agree with, the overall point being, it's too bad because this is a body that can certainly step up and raise their hand. I'm not being critical of them. I think that there are so many other things that this could have sucked all the air out of the room, and they decided not to make it their focal point. So. Hi, Bernie. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I have a question, Diane, on page 10 of the handout that was given to us. I was just wondering, the New York State 2010 high of natural gas, where is that natural gas coming from? Does she know where we're getting the natural gas from for electricity? Current grid. You know?
Let me take a look. Okay, on page 10, it's projected gas that is available from the Mount Shale underneath all these counties. So the question as to where it comes from is right there underneath you. And it's possible to get it out with any number of wells. A small amount with 20 wells, a larger amount with 200 wells. And right now, Pennsylvania is getting good oil out of this side of the border, and New York is. And the paper just shows the possibility of what would happen if New York does the same as what Pennsylvania has done.
Where the import from there?
Well, it's being imported from elsewhere in the country. I don't know the precise states. Some of it might be imported. They also get more electricity from nuclear power generation than Pennsylvania does, as you can see from the graph. But the point is that if New York State were to produce it, that would create jobs and increase incomes in New York State, rather than increasing incomes and jobs in other states by importing it from these other states. It used to be that we imported natural gas from abroad, and we're fortunate that now not only do we not have to do that, but we are in a position where we can export natural gas to other countries, potentially and most importantly offsetting the geopolitical power of Russia, which used to have its former Eastern European republics under its thumb, and now America is putting countervailing pressure on that power. So not only can we gain economic benefits, but we can do good in the world by making ourselves into a stronger energy production power.
Questions, anyone? Uni?
as we speak right now, I mean, New York State, New York State, the Department of State's workshops, is that the use of natural gas? That's the question of the audience. So, what they would use, there is a workshop, that's natural gas, available
No, good point, Uni, thanks for that. Carol?
My question is more toward that as well. I wonder if there was more research or some sort of chart sort of thing that you could bring around to local legislators and so forth regarding the use of compressed gas. I know that there have been places that have been using it to fill up their cars at $4 fill up. I thought would be great headlines for everybody to get vehicles in their own pocket, but really meaningful.
I agreed, and a couple of comments about that question. American Natural Gas Association, ANGA, and Christine, I don't know if she's still here. Okay. But they are really starting to focus heavily in New York on demonstrating the impact of, the availability of natural gas for both transportation fuel and heating fuel. And then certainly locally, if some of you aren't aware of this, and Carolyn Price can certainly speak to this, this was just in the paper, I think, yesterday, talking about the fact that Leatherstocking gas is going to be able to deliver natural gas to the school in Windsor and I guess the municipal buildings. And certainly people in those areas are excited about this, but also about the potential for, residences ultimately. So you are starting to see this, Heather?
I just want to say something about compressed liquefied natural gas, because it's something that in our membership, we represented a lot of manufacturers statewide. Many of these are manufacturers that have been here for 100 years, and they occasionally retool, they re-up their, how they power their plants. And I actually, in the last 3 months, had a conversation with a large employer in the North Country, who currently has oil heat, and they were moving. They're moving to another state because they want natural gas because it's much more price competitive. They don't want to pull from oil. But they saw that the state has a demonstration project, or is looking to do a demonstration project with state vehicles for compressed liquefied natural gas. And this company said, if we could have an on-site compressed liquefied natural gas facility, we could visual right in New York, keep the jobs in New York, and when the infrastructure gets there, we can figure out a way to price it out to make it work. So, there are so many layers of opportunity that we miss if we don't move forward with this. And here, if we have domestically produced natural gas, transportation costs are going to be cheaper, it's better for the environment, and, in this instance, about 400 jobs in North Country, where that's not nothing, it's a big deal. So.
Inga? We have to be out there talking about it every day. The Business Council and organizations like parents and others testify at every opportunity. We get yelled at, we get food thrown at us, but we have to keep doing that. But the more that people, just citizens, are willing to raise their hand and speak up and make this about a grassroots movement, that's going to help too. Having data and facts on our side and saying, look, here are the real numbers, here's what the benefit is in other states. The press has to start grabbing it. And it's true. It's way more interesting to cover, a bunch of people yelling and screaming than it is to cover a bunch of rational people talking about good ideas. We need to just keep restating our message, keep talking about the importance of it. And there's opportunities. I mean, it's hard. It takes courage to go speak at a public forum where people are yelling at you, but it's my job. I have to do it. So, parents too. But, we can always, from my organization, her organization can provide talking points. We can, if there are hearings that are run by the state legislature, we can get people on the agenda. It's what we do. So take advantage of it. Also to answer Inga's question, what are we doing? What can we be doing? What should we be doing? And to piggyback on what Heather was saying, one of the things that we are doing, and actually this is something that happened in the last few weeks, is API has sent out statewide, and the third one will go out this weekend, about 440,000 mailers to targeted households. And when I say targeted households, we're talking about people that we identify through our, statistics, et cetera, people that are not in our camp. We're going to educate those people that we view as being in the middle. Because as you say, Inga, we're speaking to the choir a lot of the time. In fact, even in this room, I know most of the people here, and I would say most of the people here are supportive, in spite of the fact that the Energy Forum team sent out invites to every elected female official in the Southern Tier, on local level and county and state. So look around. I mean, we have Carolyn Price from Windsor, who's an elected official, but this was sent. This is not a partisan issue. This is an issue that affects everyone. And so, these are the attempts that we make to educate. When I talk about mailers, 3 separate mailers focused on a couple of key things. And please, there are copies back there. The challenge was given, comment, criticism, whatever you call it, by the governor a short month or so ago, directed at the New York State Petroleum Council personally, and the Landowners Coalition. Why are people afraid you're not doing enough to educate? Well, I can't say I completely agree with his take on this, but I do believe people need to be educated, and that's what we're doing. That's what we do every day. I think what Heather is saying is keep doing it. But with respect to how are we educating, we know that most of the public gets the fact that this is going to create jobs, and they know that it's going to be of benefit to their economies. The thing that people ask about is, well, is it safe? Is our water safe? I mean, that's what the biggest concern would be from the public. So one of the flyers that we send out, and you can take it, talks about the record of safety and also how we're further ensuring in New York State through regulation and well construction, which that's really the key to making sure this is done safely, how it works. Because from our side, it is very difficult in a 10-second soundbite to explain technological information, as you all know. And unlike the opposition, we actually do have to have the facts on our side. We actually do have to fact check. We have to support everything we say with citations. So these mailers give the information, and they also give a website for people to go to, those who seriously want to know more. The other piece of this is people say, okay, I'm not a landowner, I'm not getting royalties. What's in it for me? What's in it for me to put up with some traffic? What's in it for me to put up, with some noise? And the point is, another one of these flyers, and we show actually the village of Windsor on the cover, but the point is that there are many benefits to everyone, and those include reduction in property taxes due to the fact that gas wells pay taxes, property taxes. It has to do with another big deal to talk about, and that is the decrease in utility bills. And that's in here as well. Over $1,000 in savings already across the United States in utility bills, electric bills for people. Projected by 2035 to be $2,000 per household in savings. The people that are really against this, they don't really care about that information. You know why? Because they've got theirs. They don't care if they save $1,000 on electricity. They don't really care if fuel costs a lot of money to get back and forth to work, because they've got theirs. That's a challenge we have here. But I think that the goal is that there are a lot of people out there who are working for a living and do care about that. And those are the people that we need to reach. And then those people, hopefully, will reach out to their elected officials, because as Heather said, that's the political game. And then polling, certainly, if you have politicians, they pay attention to polls, right or wrong, they do. So the goal would be certainly that with more education, and again, we are here to give you tools to work with as much as we can. Our energy citizens teams, our energy forum, we're doing webinars now on the technical issues about drilling and safety. We are going to be holding more of these events. The next Women's Energy event will include speakers who focus on the science and the technical side of development and drilling. And then, again, Mike's an example of this, the young people. Kids in elementary school, I know where my kids, I have 5 children, and my younger kids in school, they're getting a pretty biased view in school from teachers, and biased on the other side, which is unacceptable. We're talking about 8th graders. Even I'm hearing from elementary school parents, high schoolers. I had a young man call me last week because he had a project to present, and he wanted to interview me about this issue. And he actually presented to his class, and I've heard back from his mother that he was convincing people. And I wasn't standing there doing it. This young man had done his research in addition to interviewing me, and he was doing it. So we actually at API, we are focusing more on efforts to educate. We are also going to be producing webisodes, partnering with White Knight Productions here in Vestal, a webisode series of video that will be distributed through social media. And White Knight actually has just rolled out their own online TV channel. And this is sort of the wave of the future with respect to marketing and advertising. And we're going to be working with them on video to get the word out. So there are things happening. Hang in there for those of you that are discouraged. It's understandable. But with hopefully getting through the legislative session, which will be over in a couple of weeks, it will free a number of us up to do a lot more work in the communities on educating the public. So with that being said, I'd like to thank Diana. If you would, Joe, just send her our thanks. And I have my business card, and you can reach me at any point. Most of you don't know that, but and I thank Heather so much for coming out here today. Great people come out of Binghamton University. My third child actually is a graduate of SUNY Binghamton, and she's doing pretty well too. And I thank everyone here for attending and spread the word. Thank you. Okay, Inga has something to say.
Something about on Saturday, you have a recognition next to the theater where Jasmine worked. And after we finished, 3 high school students from Liberty came. And I said, where did you come from? Oh, we just saw Jasmine. She got out. It's boring. Oh, I said, did you see Frank Nation? Oh, yeah. We like Frank Nation much better than Jasmine because it's fact-based. The other thing is what we say, personal opinion based. That's what Mr. Kim said. And very popular. So there's some hope.
Thanks, Inga. We all need that. We have to hear more stories like that. Thank you.